Hey everyone, look forward to meeting you guys in person. I wanted to first start just saying how exciting it's been to be part of the organization these past few months. Really first and foremost here, starting with AG. He and I have an extensive experience together. This was my third time working with him, and I always thought he was going to be a really good head coach, and it's been very exciting for me to be a part of it and really see everything that I thought he was going to be as a head coach, as good as I thought he was going to be. He's been even better than that. So I really enjoyed being united again with him, and being able to see that live has been really cool for me. The other thing that's kind of impressed me in my time here, I just want to first recognize Mooj and his staff, those personnel guys, what they've done this offseason to help bring AG's vision for the team to life has been outstanding. I've been highly impressed with them. And then next, just talk about our defensive staff. I was very excited about the coaches we were able to add in the offseason, working on our defensive scheme. Been very impressed with the ideas that they've brought. And then the time we've been working with the players, I think they've been excellent teachers so far, so I'm really excited about them. And then leading into the players so far, in my experience with those guys, every one of them has been really outstanding, very eager to learn and get better. And then really the thing that's impressed me the most in my experience working with them in this short time is I knew them as players and their reputation, but they've been even better men than players. And I just really appreciate the way they carry themselves every day. So with that being said, that's all I got.
Brian, when you first heard from AG about the idea of joining his staff, like what was your thought process like about getting back with him, and then what were those conversations like about your guys' like shared vision for this defense?
The first thought I had was just extremely excited for the opportunity, to the point of I've always really enjoyed working with AG and always had a really good dynamic with him, and very confident in his ability as a head coach and where he'll take this organization. So obviously was excited to be part of a good organization. And then he and I have always seen football very similarly. So from that standpoint, the vision of the defense, that's kind of an easy conversation for us. And then it was more just kind of defining the role and how we would work together. But even that, we had a very similar dynamic and have used to working together. So honestly, it was a very easy conversation, and I was very excited about it.
Brian, you said that a lot of these players impressed you. Is there a specific player that you've been impressed by?
I mean, obviously Double D comes to mind immediately, but his reputation precedes him so much with that I kind of already expected that. Those guys that I just didn't have any of those guys we signed a free agency is a good example, Kingsley, Osai, all those guys that I just hadn't met in person before and didn't have as much of a reputational knowledge of them around the league. I've been really impressed with those guys in the short time, just be good examples.
Ryan, when you look at some of the guys you brought in through the draft, I'm sure you were part of that process. What do you think of some of the guys that came in on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, again, going back to my point earlier, just very impressed with Mooj and what they've done. I think he very clearly sees what the goal is with the vision of the defense and what it should look like, and has certainly added players that fit that vision and guys that can help us.
How do you feel about being reunited with Minka, and how do you think he can make a difference for the secondary?
Absolutely, very excited about having Minka here. He's obviously an impact player, has been a very good player for a long time around the league, so was certainly very excited when the opportunity arose to add him and reunite with him.
Brian, how do you see that role with AG? He's calling the defense, but what do you see as your role as a defensive coordinator, and how can you help him?
Absolutely. First and foremost, my role here is to help AG, right, and help him put him in great positions that he does a great job calling the game. But outside of that, from the defensive coordinator role, there's certainly some details and some coordination of the little things that need to be taken care of that sometimes just based on the plate of responsibilities that the head coach has, that it helps if someone can handle some of those. So some of the finer details and just some of the little things that I can help stay organized, again, any way I can help him be better, that's what I'm trying to do.
Can you speak specifically about D'Angelo Pons? And people talk about his size and everything like that. What have you seen from him, and what do you think about the comparison to AG?
first, in regard to the comparison to AG, certainly find it as amusing as everyone else. I can't say I watched AG's tape coming out, so I'm not too qualified to compare the two tapes, but I understand why they say that from a measurable standpoint. And that's all I could say about the comparison. In terms of the player, for D'Angelo, been super impressed by his ability just as a football player, and has shown that he can get the ball back, has shown he can be a lockdown corner.
Ryan, when you studied David Bailey and had your chance to really like dive into him, both when he came to the Jets and before, like what kind of stands out about what he's going to bring to the table for you guys as a pass rusher and whatnot?
Yeah, first and foremost, obviously, from the pass rush standpoint, just as you alluded to, highly productive player in college doing that, highly productive. The get off and the first step is the number one thing you notice on tape. And then you see the ability for a guy with that speed that also shows power. That was very impressive.
Can you talk about the pieces you have up front and versatility, I think, that affords you guys to attack teams with schematically?
Absolutely. And then to the point earlier, Muja's done a great job really building the front seven to the point now that we have a lot of guys that are very good players and can do a number of things. And so really the challenge for us as a defensive staff is always getting the best 11 out there. And then we have so many guys that can do different things. It really gives us the ability to be creative and put guys in different positions. So I think we got a lot of good players up front. There'll be really good competition up there, and that's exciting.
Take a couple more for Coach.
Kind of in the same vein, on the back end, you have a lot of guys who can play different spots. Minka can go nickel and at safety, and D'Angelo can play inside, outside. Like, how important is that to this defense to have defensive backs that can kind of be shuffled all around the field like you guys have?
It's certainly beneficial for the defense. It allows us to present multiple looks to the offense. It helps you in the event of injury to be able to adjust and get your best guys out there. In today's football where it's getting less and less position-based, it's very important to have guys with versatility.
I'm sure sometime in your past you've faced the Frank Reich offense before. What do you remember about facing his offense?
I'd be lying if I said I had strong recollections of that. I'd have to certainly have in the past, but I can't say I have a strong recollection or thoughts on that specifically. I would say this, in my short time here with Frank, I really enjoyed getting to know him. I didn't know him well, but he and I personally have immediately felt a really good connection with him and just enjoy the conversations he and I have and appreciate his zest for football and his passion.
What is
Anyone
your
else?
what is your philosophy about 3-4 or 4-3?
My philosophy is to play the best players and play good defense.
No, as far as the scheme, the scheme you like to run.
Exactly. Yep. Whoever the best players are, we'll get those out there, and we'll be multiple with that. So I wouldn't tie myself to either of those, really.